next play investors. What's the next play? Flight Investors.
Good evening, everybody. How everybody doing? Oh man, it's another great Sunday. We want to welcome you again to Next Play Investors. It's the weekly show that we talk about investments, infinite banking, stocks, cryptocurrency, options, all different kinds of investment. How to fix your credit, man. A lot of things go on Sunday here, so you definitely got to tell a friend, and make sure you don't miss it. Every Sunday we here, we sitting talking, and we going over all the things that talk about financial wealth, success, and even health. Mental, everything. It's just a good group mastermind that we meet up every Sunday. We sit around and chat, and we help each other out, and it's a good, friendly place to learn and grow. Definitely want to make sure you come out every Sunday from 7:30 to 9. Well, we actually just get to and then actually see if everybody's actually talking about and what's going on in their financial world. Other than that, we definitely want to have you here. We're here every Sunday. So if you're new here, here's the introduction. And we finna get over to everybody else and see exactly what they got going on and what everybody else is doing, and then we're gonna go from there and see, how that actually works out. We definitely thank you again for joining us over here at Next Play Investors. Grab you a drink, grab you some wine, do whatever you need to do. Grab your laptop. Let's see if we can get some good information from the other investors and see what's going on in everybody else's world. We definitely having a good time, and let's get over and see what they actually talking about.
I think so.
saying,
It might be. I don't know.
saying
Man,
that they
I
got
don't
an
know.
African American coming to their church.
what's going on, man? What's going on, man? What's going on, man? I don't know what I caught, but I hope I didn't catch, you know what I mean, too much. You know what I'm saying? So let's make sure
Yeah,
we
you
tell them, man, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? Hey, man,
and
another great
another week,
Sunday, man. What y'all up to?
another great Sunday, another
Just
another great
say
week,
Oh yeah,
another great week.
in the neighborhood.
hey, man, that's a good thing, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy
On
to
the
be here.
horizon.
You know, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely a great thing, man. A brother told me this. A brother told me this week. A lot of people be mad about having to go to work on Monday. They be mad about having to clean up after the kids. Mad about all kind of things. But he said there's one thing you can do about that, and you can change one word and change the whole dynamics of what you upset about. So think about it. Man, I don't want to go to work.
Oh, it's easy.
But you can say,
That's easy.
man, it's great. What is it? Go ahead.
It's the change. I'm ready to go to work. That one, I want to go to work. That's easy. You
Right. Or at the opportunity, I'm thankful. Let,
your phone, you're breaking up a little bit, man.
let, oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Oh, let me go back. Yeah, but having the opportunity to say, you let me come to work. You let me attend this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the opportunity we live in we live in the greatest country in the world
Yeah, we do.
because of all the opportunity that we have.
That is true.
You just got to take advantage of it.
I agree with you on both fronts.
So yeah,
You know, I
yeah, man,
I
yeah,
think like last week for me, I had to like I'm constantly changing my attitude. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm having to check myself all the time, man. You can't even be around people talking negative. Like, and that's really one of the things because as soon as they come around, I get in a negative mind frame, and you can call it being led, or you can call it habit. But I have to keep that. I have to keep those thoughts away from me. I don't want to hate going to work. I need to love it. I mean, I like being able to pay my bill. You can't hate something when it help you out.
yeah. That's true. But I
Yeah.
guess us being in this environment and um, the land of milk and honey, we get uh, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? Complacent. We get
Mm-hmm.
complacent. You know, we're not as hungry. And I know Martinez, you can speak on that being over in another country, how the luxuries that we have here, how we take for granted, right?
Yep. I totally agree with you, my brother. I totally agree. It's a big difference, man. Because we've been so privileged, we sometimes we take things for granted, and just like you said, we get complacent. And there's somebody maybe down the road or across the water that they don't get the opportunities we get. Everything is not set forth in front of them. So, that's
Hey,
just a blessing that we have.
hey, speak on the education system over in Dominican versus here.
Well, education here is you got to pay for your education here. There's no public schools. You got to pay to go to school, and a lot of parents can't afford to send their kids to school, so they try to home teach them the best they can, and you got to put into play that a lot of them maybe didn't go to school, or maybe they only got like a couple of years of school. Because when you grown here, you got to go to work. Some kids got to go to work at an early age to help take care of the household. But that's something we take for granted, and our kids take for granted. Our generation and our kids are what I call the entitled generation. These people, they kids got to get out. You've been here, you seen where the kids on the side of the road, most of the Haitians, and they got the baskets on their heads and they going from car to car selling stuff. Just like we would see kids back home selling bottles of water, but some kids are probably selling those bottled water to feed themselves, or they might be just trying to get extra shoe money. But to the kids, that's money that needs to come back to the house in order to keep the house running. And then speaking on that subject as well,
I mean,
today,
and it's crazy that you say that because when we talk about America's the greatest system, like the fact that kids here actually just trying to make money for shoe money, but the fact that kids over there are actually on the side of the street selling water so that they're able to actually live. Like the vast difference in those two people, like because when you that man, them people really be they really be working. I don't even want to call it hustling.
Yeah, I mean, like today in my church, my church is getting ready to build another church and a school, and they had like one of the meetings for the community today, and one of the questions that one of the parents asked, and it made my jaw drop. She said, "Are the kids going to be separated by income?" Now, for us, we would look at that as an insult or be like, but to them, that's normal in their society. So I had to check myself, just because when she answered the question, when she asked the question, I was like, wow, really? You gonna have that question?
Well, yeah, but I don't understand. Why would they separate the kids by income? I don't get it.
Remember I was telling you one day that this is like a status environment, culture. They try to get as close as possible to the European status culture, where status plays the role where your kids go to school. Status is how your family is respected. They kind of take that serious here because, like one of my friends told me at church, the reason why he joined our church is because when they had, at the church, you had the little dinners and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They was charging people, so they told his kids they couldn't eat. And that can
Yeah.
hit you hard. You know what I'm saying? You telling the kid they can't eat because your parents didn't put some money in the pot. You need something like in America that'll be like, that'll cause a fight.
But
Really? So his kids had to sit on the sideline while all the other kids ate.
All the kids and adults will eat.
Huh?
Yeah, and then nobody, but see, I'm telling you, just from being around people here, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it where they look at the color of your skin or what side of town you stay on. Either they gonna respect you or not respect you. They gonna think you as a peasant or they gonna think you as somebody like a upper class. And they treat others different.
Well, interesting.
so let me ask you this question. So do the ties that the people to pay to the church, do they matter?
Yeah, I think like Sam was just messing with me today. I was telling about what happened to me today at church. Sam was like, "It's about the tithes." I said, "Nah, it can't be about the tithes, man." Everybody, I said, "Man, the little I give, it ain't." But then I started thinking deeply about it. I was like, "Is it? Is it?"
Well, I
Because
mean, me being
I feel like the tithes that go to the church, and as a leader of that church, and what incident happened with the dude that came to the church, the pastor or one of the leaders should have stepped in and said, "No, the kids go eat. Even if y'all ain't kind of afford to put in right now, I got you covered, or we can work it out." You just don't say, "Nah, they ain't gonna eat."
Yeah, you're right. I agree. But yeah, you got a good point about the tithing also. Maybe in their culture, your tithing being from the United States grants you that type of respect to get a standing ovation when you enter the church.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know me, man. I got that humble spirit, man. I didn't. I appreciate it, but I didn't really like it. I appreciate it because I try to stay low key and under the radar. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. It's just the way I'm raised. It's just hey, I just try to do my part and keep it moving. But I don't even like one of the other pastors walked up to me and said, "You got a real humble spirit." I said, "Man, I had to explain to her, I came from nothing. Nothing, bro. So
but,
I
but
understand they struggle."
my question though, man, when you told me that when I was over there that $400-500 a month is like the average income, I kind of get it, cause you know, looking at doing business with churches and doing business with businesses, churches actually have to keep the building running, cause it's a business, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and more than anything, it's a business, and over there they really don't have. I mean, I hate to say it. They told a kid that, and a grown up didn't morally say I'd rather get a kid my food instead of eat in front of him. That's my problem with it. Cause morally, the church shouldn't even have to do that. The parents should have, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Cause as a father, I'd rather for my children to eat than eat in front of them.
Is that?
I don't even think that's an obligation on the church, and they don't think nothing wrong with them needing the money. But I think it's up to the people, like on a moral standard. I'm not finna eat in front of my child and let him sit there and be hungry. Like, that's the only thing that I get out of that. I don't fault the church for it because I know the living conditions over there. You know what I'm saying? Like that. In reality, it really ain't nothing wrong with it. Like shit, because you gotta realize the church over there really can't pay for that much food.
Mm-mm.
And I guess if they fed those kids, then in that environment, the word would get out, and then you'd have uh, a ton of kids and families over there
Yeah.
because it'd go from we did it this time to where they're giving away free food, and in that economy they can't do it. But
Mm-mm.
here in the U.S., they do it all the time with
I
churches.
mean,
Right now, churches are giving away food.
Yeah.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's like even at our church, but I guess it's due because my pastor's American, I'm American. We know that there's resources out there that you can go and draw from. Like he gets over, I think he told me he gets about $25,000 worth of food a year sent here to go feed the homeless. But maybe those other churches don't have that resource. When I look at, remember we was talking about like Franco said the different salaries and stuff. We was talking about like lawyers and doctors making like $1,500 a month here. The average teenager that working a proper full time job makes that. So it kind of like it's weird to me because that's why I say education is so important because when you look at your government officials, that's how they control coaches if they can limit the education.
And also control the education too,
Yeah.
and control what's being taught. Just like here in the U.S., how they use the school systems and the church to teach us, you know,
Most of our
certain
most of our morals.
most of our morals,
Mm-hmm.
most of our values, the education that we
Yeah.
got, how to
But
think.
see,
Um,
they don't they don't have that here. Their morals are shot to pieces here. They don't have that, bro. Morals are they now a lot of them got some religious morals, whether they're Catholic or they're Christian. But outside of that, no, it's not. It's not.
So,
yeah.
you know, my question is, what's popping over there though? How do we? Cause see, like, my question is, has tourism started back over there real heavy?
Real estate is the real estate and tourism is what makes money here. The government is so invested into tourism, they want currency from all over the world. They want it to come here because it builds up theirs. Just like I found out during the pandemic that 30% of American money, is, 30% is basically what sets up their economy here. 30% of their economy comes from us.
That's a lot.
And I was just like, that's
That's
a
a
lot,
that's
bro.
a lot. That's a
That
whole lot.
that's why when you go to like the tourist part of towns like Hulican and all that, you go see more police there. You go see more security measures because they don't want to. You're not finna scare away the American dollar. They will run you out of there before you do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You say that, and also about the real estate. And I'm gonna ask you to share the story about the the 4 unit property you was talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
in the Dominican Republic on what it would cost and the land and how much revenue it generate.
yeah. I mean, we just talking about like we was talking about the other night. My partner said to build, and he's man. When I say he's a builder, that joker's a builder. He said he already did the estimate on the do 8 level, 2 apartments on each floor. He was looking at about 400 grand. So I was asking him, I was like, what would it take to do it for? He said 200. He said if you own the land, you're looking at about right at 200,000. You could take each one of those units and sell them anywhere from 80 to about $100,000 for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath.
Wow.
And they will sell like hotcakes if you put it in the right area. I just wrote, and I forgot to take a picture. I'm see if I can take one before I leave out of here. I just realized that, and I didn't think about it either myself. When you building tall towers, you got to dig deep to set up that foundation. Cause when I looked over there, I was driving down the road in the Uber, and I looked over, I said, that's a deep hole. I said, you know what? That's where they finna put a tower at. It makes sense. And they popping these things up like it's Cracker Jack box because they money grabbers. You put it up to sell out 8 units, man, you sell that out in no time. Because what they doing here is they're advertising ahead of time. They'll put the poster, the billboard up. They'll tell you what the price, tell you what the initial, and they're selling the units before they even break ground.
Oh, that's good.
And I said, and I can understand that. I was like, well, what? These folks don't make that type of money. But when I looked at the billboards, you know what the billboard said? US dollar. All the prices were listed in US dollar.
But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like I said, when I met that white man over there, that old white man, probably about 75 years old. You remember we met him in the food place?
At the restaurant?
Yeah, the restaurant. That man said he from America. He come over there and live it up. He been over there about 10 years. And the fact that you can take, if you got $100,000, you can live like a king over there for
Oh yeah.
years, for years.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can live like you can be man. You can live like a king over there for $100,000, man, for years. Like you almost couldn't unless you just blow some money. You really couldn't spend enough money in the area unless you just doing stupid stuff to really go through no
That's
money.
you hit it dead on the head. You hit it dead on the head. But I'm seeing a lot more, and just like y'all saw, and I know when the guys we was doing like just looking around and stuff, we saw that it's more of us coming there now. But it's a lot of them that's coming too. A lot of them have been here. The white people have been there before us too as well. But we'll tell each other about it, like, hey man, it's a great opportunity. Man, you might want to come over here, blah, blah, blah. You don't see no advertisement over in America about the money you could save if you decide to do that.
Well, I mean, that's not in the best interest of America.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like the country we live in has really cornered the money market. And so this is why even when you see overseas that everything is priced in US dollars. So it wouldn't it's not it's not in the best interest of the United States to advertise, but they do. That's really what their aid money be. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like the charity they give away to other people to try to make it where people will go. You know, that's why other countries, like even when we talk about the COVID thing, like y'all know what happened when we went down there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How they did it, they really, but they got on board with COVID because they know they get money from the U.S. because the U.S. said it. Everybody that really got on board with COVID and locked everything down was because the United States said it. When you go on the other side of the earth, you don't really, you know what I'm saying? You don't really see it the same way. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Like the United States is a great place. Uh, it's bad place for one choice group of people, but as far as financially, that's why I say I can kind of get why they didn't let the kids eat. But yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Well, I like the fact that you could, it opened you up globally. And for Martinez to be over there for what, you going on what, 3 years now, Martinez?
that's going on 4 now.
God
4 years, man.
damn.
4 years have flown by.
Shit, I'm coming over there, man. I'm good. Them niggas, excuse me, them boys don't move in. We gotta go. One over there, one over here. Look at my little girl turn 18. Shoot, and I ain't got about $60,000, $70,000 to put away. I'm going to the DR, man. Get me back rubbed
I
up.
mean, Jay, just like my partner, one that does the building, man. Like I was telling Sam and telling Stacy, man, that cat was born here, but he was raised in America. He built his own penthouse on top of his dad's apartment building. And now he will never have to pay a mortgage, none. All he got to pay now is his utility. You know what he told me? He said, man, I might come to America just if it's something special to do. He said, I'm never coming back there, really. He said, I ain't gonna tell you no story. He said, I'm just being honest with you, man. For what?
So,
He,
so here's
he's found a way to generate income here. Yeah, he's straight. He ain't got no overhead.
So he came down there. So you telling me he moved down there and got him a hustle or business and started making
Yeah,
money and down there. Okay.
So he's never coming back to the U.S. He just might come to visit, but that's it.
that's it.
So the U.S. is his vacation spot.
Yep, basically.
So here's the $1 million question: Are you?
Make
What's your plan? What's your plan? What's your end goal as far as the
My
Dominican
end goal,
Republic?
my end goal is to get where he's at, where I can say one day that, hey, yeah, I'm just coming back to America just to visit. Because for us, it's like a reset here. When you understand that everything's going, you like, remember like you saying, Stacey, you was talking to one of your partners, he was like, man, you can start something here and with a little amount of money and it'll go a long way. It changes your status, it changes the way you go about business. You ain't got to bust yourself over the head just trying to make a dollar.
Let's open up a nightclub down there.
But see, Franco, you gotta be cautious of that because just like that first thing everybody say, man, open up a nightclub. You know, it's a nightclub out on every corner here.
Shoot.
There's a nail shop, there's a makeup bar on every corner. It's too many people at the same. You gotta find something that's unique, and you gotta also find something that people need, not just want here.
So what do the people in the DR need that's in America that from your opinion? So if people were to invest in the DR, and you may be able to be the liaison to the DR, what could we invest in the DR that could possibly get us money?
My first thing I would say would be real estate. I've seen most of everybody that came in contact with doing real estate. I've seen nobody complain about it. They done great about it. I ain't hear nobody took a loss or nothing like that. Then I would say transportation, and then I would say like import and export. Those would be my top 3.
So So let me ask you a question then. Like, what does it cost to import stuff there?
That's the question of the day. That's the question of the day. That's the thing I've been working on. But see, here it's hard to get around the middleman to get to the source. That middleman, he ain't finna give up the plug because he feel like he's gonna lose out on something. And to them, they're in survival mode here. So you basically gotta just one day hope you bump into the main person that can lead you down the right avenue in order to export something. Because there's too many middlemen here. And the middlemen, that's how they make their money that way.
So
They gonna want their cut, huh?
Yep. Oh, they gonna get their cut off the top because they're not gonna introduce you to or tell you where to go to the well at. You gonna have to always go through them.
Oh, okay.
My question is, can we find could we possibly could you find I wonder could you find out? Because I mean, if it's money to be made and we in the U.S., we really crazy not to even be trying.
I mean, hey, that's true, but it's just like I was just telling them earlier too, Franco. I was saying that I'm gonna do a test run. I'm gonna do what we call everybody call the quick flip. I'm gonna try to because they got little houses here that's already built. 2-2 or 3-2, and then you can flip it. You can turn around. If you buy it for 20, sell it for 40. Go in there and do a little work, quick flip. Or like Stacey says, he's reaching over to the sky.
Just
you can turn around and be the bank yourself, and you can finance the house, and just have them give you a good big deposit, and then draw that money for the next 20 years. Now that's different because now what you got maybe an extra 20 grand, now you probably turned it into about 80 grand, 80 or 100 grand because of compound interest.
All right. So what about import export?
I'm working on that. I mean, I'm still going through 2 middlemen on like shipping avocados, wherever they going to, but because of their farming here, farming is a big thing here, and they export a lot of their goods out in farming here. You just gotta go through the middleman and figure out what the middleman knows.
So would they hold your stuff up in customs a long time if you don't know the middleman?
No, they wouldn't do that. I mean, that part would be the easy part, but finding where you're going to ship these items, who's going to purchase these items. And then, like you say, let's say you find a need in America. America needs more pineapple. What farms are you going to go to and get those pineapples? Who's know how to do all the paperwork to export those pineapples? And finding information here like that, you just can't go on the internet. It's not listed there. You got to go talk to somebody to figure that out here. And that's when sometimes the language barrier can kick in.
Makes sense. Well, I like the real estate idea. I like the idea of taking the American dollar and making it stretch. And on the like I said, on the real estate thing, you can start off, like you said, just doing the fix and flip, or just doing the like the new bills, for 20, 30,000 and flip out of them. And then once you get comfortable, and also from the flips, you build up your reserves, you can possibly start doing some owner financing, and somebody like you who's been on the ground for the past 3 to 4 years with connections, could be a positive thing.
Yeah, it can be. And, I hope that more Americans can get the opportunity to go outside the country, and you don't have to be this country, but just go visit and maybe at least have the idea to think that maybe I can move there or move my family there, and we can live like kings and queens.
I ain't gonna lie,
That's
you
the
eat good though. You eat good like kings and queens down there, boy.
I know, bro. I know.
Yeah,
Hey,
you're right. It's definitely a different
you
life.
can eat good and don't pick up all that weight either, and feel more healthier too.
Yeah, that's
Oh
true.
yeah, the food is a whole different. By the food being all organic, man, that food does something to your body that you wouldn't believe. In a good note, on a good
Yeah,
note, you feel a lot healthier, a lot stronger. Your immune system picks up because they don't use all the preservatives and steroids in their food. It has an entirely different taste.
exactly. Exactly. That's the only part I hate when I come home. It take my body to get back used to Americanized food.
You know you used to them chicken wings, boy.
But hey, it be hard, man. That's the first thing I eat when I get back there, just to like shock myself back into it.
Hey man, let me ask you a question. So you can just go. So the land over there, you said about $5,000 to $10,000, right?
No, you can get. My church just bought 1,500 meters. That's almost a half an acre. They bought that for about 7 grand. They own it outright. They'll never have to pay tax on it. Day in their life. And it can be passed down to the next generation.
Go ahead, man.
Hey man, I got a question. With that, is the land priced like the same everywhere, or is it, different? Like in the US, like say Buckhead real estate is higher than it is out here in Covington. Is it like that over there too, or you don't know?
It is. It's just like that. You're gonna
Okay.
pay more. You remember where we were staying at? Man, I just found out this too, bro. Well, we were staying at in Santiago. That was considered the like the Buckhead area. Soon as I showed it to the guy, in my attorney friend at the church where we was at, he said, "Oh, y'all was in the upper class area." Because the higher that you sit up on the mountain, the more you have to pay for the land, and the closer you get to the beach. Flat land in the middle, yeah, they ain't gonna charge you that much unless it's an area that's already built up.
So what's considered the middle?
Like if we was where Mr. Rivers at, that would be considered like that whole flat area that in that area. Even like Castellanda, because we didn't go that far to go up on here. So Castellanda will probably be on the regular side area, a regular price too. See,
Okay.
and then the further you get out, it'll get a little cheaper if you get into the Puerto Plata area. That's why I saw the land was going for like $5 a square meter.
Okay.
Or either that. What about the place that you was talking about that was up and coming? I think it was called Yuma. It was like a beach area that was undeveloped. Where they was selling land.
Savannah. See, Savannah, here you got to wait for the government to release the land, and they haven't released a lot of that land up near that beach because they preserved it. Basically, I think they was preserved for like the Marriotts and the Hiltons and all those guys,
Okay.
because a lot of those big hotel chains, they come in here and buy up a lot of land and build resorts and stuff.
Okay. So you can't, you can't get your hands on it before them, right?
Nope. Now that once they release it, and see, that's another thing. That's what that middleman come in effect too. How does that middleman know when they gonna release that land? Because hey, as soon as we release it, I'm willing to bet that price is super low before getting his hand.
But see, here in the States, most of that is public information. So, say for instance, you they want to put up a shopping complex in Buckhead. Well, it's got to go before the Board of Commissioners, which is a public meeting. So
Mm-hmm.
you got privilege to go to that public meeting, sit in, listen. You got an opportunity to disagree with it coming in. You know, you can get up and speak. And I know this firsthand because I had, I've gotten property rezoned in the past from residential to commercial, and people either standing up for me or standing against me, saying, "Look, I don't want my property rezoned commercial. It's going to bring in a lot of traffic. You know, it's going to bring in a lot of businesses around my house. I don't want it." And then some folks will stand up and be like, I'm for the growth. But the fact is, here in the U.S., you got that opportunity to, be at those board meets and what they call it, board of assessors meetings, and find out, what's coming new. And a lot of people, they'll go to those meetings just to find out what's coming. Once it gets approved, then they'll go in that area and start buying all the real estate.
Mm.
They have something similar to that. If you do, that's another thing. If you do buy like land, space thing, like anything close to commercial, they have their own board, and also you have the advertising in the newspaper as well. And I know that probably because they said for you to get total control of it takes about 2 months because it has to go before the board, and then it also has to be advertised in the newspaper so they're letting the public know that you're buying this and what it's being used for. But there's no town meeting or anything like that. They got a select group of people.
Hmm.
I mean, it really makes sense, man. I mean, we just live in a land, and that's why America's so good when you're looking at it from a business sense. And that's why they call it the land of opportunity, because the fact that everything is so openly available to us, we gotta appreciate it. Because you telling me this story, like you really have no hope if you're not born in the money in that country, because you can't pay
Mm-hmm.
anybody to really do anything.
Nope.
In America,
It,
the
it
services are a part of the public aid for you to be able to try to make it.
Yep. And just think like you can't just go to like a bank like we do back home. Like people want to purchase houses, like we got the FHA and all that. They don't have stuff like that here. I mean, the longest I heard of mortgage that may go here, maybe 10 years. That's it. Most of them anywhere from a year to like 5 years. Your house got to be paid off,
Wow.
or it's like you renege on the deal.
And then what they do?
Oh, they come to get it.
So if it's
They
not paid within the 5 to 10 years or whatever, that's
you
their
voided that
catch that
contract.
you come get it. They come get it.
Yeah, you voided that contract. That's the trap.
All right.
So
Because
Well,
this thing,
and who
I
gets
guess
the
it's not
house?
it is. Hey, it is, but it ain't.
yeah, for him, that's a trap. So that's just like if I bought $100,000 house and they say I want 10% down and I'm gonna give you 5 years to come up with the rest.
Yeah.
That man just got $10,000 right off the rip from him. Them 5
And
years
you
you
got
might have
5
did good
years to
for
pay
the
off
first 2 years.
$100,000.
Yeah. Well, you got to if you break that down into monthly,
About 7.
the average family don't make that.
Oh, no, not there. Not the average person there. Monthly, they don't make that.
Mm-mm.
They winning. Yeah, we need to build some
Yeah.
houses over there. Shoot, you know people ain't gonna make the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. But you got that nice chunk of change up front. Then you got them paying for a year or two before they little money done ran out and they figured out this a bad deal.
Man, they basically
It's
doing
back in
renter center deals
circulation.
over there in the DR.
Say what?
They doing renter center deals over there in the DR.
I
But
just say rental centers.
Yeah, that's that renter center housing, man.
I Hey, man. But hey, just think, man, if that unit, one of them units can, man, you get 2 or 3 people to turn that thing over,
Yeah.
it don't pay for it itself, and you don't make a profit.
Man,
And you
move
still
your
got the
ass in
profit.
the house, man.
Yeah,
It's
but see,
really
it all it's gonna take is one bank to come over here and say, "Hey, we're gonna do like America. We're gonna do 20 to 30. It's gonna change the game over here."
Mhm.
Shit, I like T. I like the other way better.
But the
I
Winter
do it
Center,
as a businessman, yeah.
Shit, somebody
But
told
you
me
know
one
it's gonna
time
come.
don't reinvent the wheel.
It's gonna come once everything gets more organized, and I don't think they're gonna ever get organized because they are who they are. Because like I was telling them, I was like, on their IDs, they don't have addresses on their IDs, so it makes it hard to find a person, getting locate a person.
What the hell?
They don't have a system set up like that.
Wait a minute, so what you got an ID for?
It,
What you like, man? What's your
it got
ID? What does your ID do?
it.
Is this a picture with your? You can put your name, or is it me? And-
A lot of them carry. They got Dominican IDs. It got like they little ID number on there, their birthday, and what city they born in. But most of them got passports. You know, they got their own little passport books.
Man, you got a city I was born in. I ain't been back there. They'd never find me.
Yeah, trust me. Hey, Franco. I know this guy that rented a scooter
They'll never
and
find
got
me.
a ticket.
Yeah.
And got a ticket.
Uh huh.
And the one of the locals told him just throw the ticket away. They can't find you.
got
And
the
the guy just gave him a bogus ID anyway.
Yeah.
that.
Cause
Man,
ain't no system like that, man.
it's the wild,
So
wild west.
until they get that, they can't collect debt. So, cause you can't find nobody.
Hmm. Wow.
That's why when you buy property, rent property here, they ask for guarantors. That means they want a family member. They want that family member job information. Those are like the closest things they can use to identify who you are, and if something happens, how can we get our property back?
Uh,
And those, and that's why they ask for those guarantees. And those guarantees, you just can't have any Joe Blow sign it. It's got to be what's the thing they stamp? I can't think of the
Notary.
word right now.
a notary.
Notary, yes, got to be notarized. Got to be notarized. Notary is so big here. They won't do nothing. I mean, even just getting your power on here, it's got to be notarized. Your lease and everything.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't just take up another system, man. That system definitely isn't working. You know what I mean? I wonder why they
Yeah,
don't mirror the system of the U.S.
Well, looks like they're slow to change.
yeah. And then you gotta look at the other side. Maybe somebody don't want it to change because they finagling it.
True.
I
But they
mean,
don't understand that our U.S. system make a lot of money off that system.
Yeah. But how do they look at the U.S. anyway? But I mean, from their side of the fence, being that you've been over there for almost 4 years, what do they think about America? How do they look at Americans and things like that?
Just like Franco said, they think we the land of the honey. They think we got it. They think we got it. Man, anything they feel like you American, they like, oh, he got money or she got money. Because just like we said, the average worker that work at Burger King, he make more than the doctors. Unless that doctor got his own practice.
Were you talking about here in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the person at Burger King make more than the doctors in the D. I wonder why. Now
Bruh,
I
I
understand why
know
everybody got these BBL.
I know a person that work at Waffle House that come here off. Oh my God. You would think he's the Prince of Bel Air around this mug.
That.
Ah, that's funny. That's funny.
I'll
That's
just tell you. I'll just tell you, man. You can't tell him nothing, but he just feel like he can go eat anywhere he want to eat at the 5 stars, flip burgers, whatever. When he get back home, but come here and just live like a king. And he'll save all that money up just to come here to get that 1 week, live like a king.
Wow.
But guess what it did though? It inspired him. Now lately, when I talk to him, he's talking about, man, maybe I should open me a restaurant there.
Oh yeah.
I say, shoot, you in the business, you would know more about it.
Hey, he lived it though. That's the difference. Think about it.
Yeah,
He was in
see, in
there.
America, I never thought about that. But he was
Think
like,
about
man,
it.
I can save my money up and build one here, or start me one here.
I mean, when you really look at it, probably ain't no more than $5,000 or $10,000 to rent a place and furnish it up. If that.
If that, yeah, if that.
If that. I mean, I know
Because,
the rent at a commercial location can't be no more than $500.
and you know, you hit it dead on the head, Franco. That's exactly what normally you
It
go
can't
pay
be no
anywhere
more
from
than
$200 to
$500
$500.
a
To
month.
rent out a place is $500.
Yeah, can't
Yeah,
be no
you can get a
$500.
spot in the mall for about $500.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
$500.
the hardest part is getting your supply.
Nah, but then I'm looking at on this side. If you got a contact back here in America and you got somebody that's, like, say, if you're doing a restaurant, you can fly. I've heard people say they fly stuff back with them to start their businesses here. And I've heard people that actually came out cheaper buying their stuff here sometimes, because if you just don't hold on American products, then yeah, you might want to find somebody to fly your stuff here or get it shipped here. If you're okay with Chinese products and other country products, then sometimes it is cheaper here. It all depends on what, because China is very heavily invested here. Which I know you guys saw when you was here.
Mm-hmm.
China is very heavy invested here. You
Well,
know the first spots they come to the neighborhoods.
it makes sense though. I mean, China
Yeah.
produce everything for America, and why would, like, to be honest with you, to go into another realm of talk, that's why a lot of the stuff that you see going on is happening, because China is becoming is really becoming the #1 global power. China is involved in all the places that are emerging now. So
now, I want to say I met with a guy 2 weeks ago who the international investor. We had a meeting, and what he says happens with China, what they'll do, the rich would take second-class citizens, someone from a poor neighborhood, and sponsor them in a different country. So they'll say, look, I'm going to take you and your family. I'm going to move you to Ghana, DR, Venezuela. I'm going to set you up your own business. You're going to run the business. I'm going to supply you the goods, take care of everything. But you go there and you set a presence up. And then once they get that established, then they may open up another business and get the first family members to come over there. And then, of course, they start having babies and families and set up their own establishment right in that community. That's how they do it.
Wow.
They know
Let
it.
me ask you a question, Stacey. So you know what a restaurant Bourbon Street used to be at here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think that's exactly what happened now? Because you know that's a full Chinese store with everything in that, and then they opened up another one down the street on the left.
Yep, that's what happened. The guy, I didn't know it until the guy told me a few weeks ago, and that's how I found out, about how strong the American dollar was, and how you could literally travel from one country to the next, and your bank account doubles or triples just from traveling from one country to the next. Your net worth triples just from a plane flight. And listen, you talk. Now you can understand how We are now living in a global economy because we can move around. Just like you living in the Dominican, who's to say next play get together, you find the spot, you find the land, we build the apartment building, and we lease it out for passive cash flow because you
That's
already
what
got
I'm
boots on
with.
the ground.
That's what we should work on.
That makes sense. I mean, I didn't ever think it was like that too, because I was wondering how, like, because when we was going to that restaurant, it had a pretty decent crowd. He had his locals and everybody's familiar with him. But then come around the next year, we go back in there, it's a full stock Chinese stores with everything from A to Z. So I guess he had over there. They had, and the crazy part, I went to another store similar to that here to get some hardware stuff, and everybody that was Asian worked. They always employ their own people. They may have like one or two Dominicans in there, but everybody, even the Asians, they spoke no English, nothing. They spoke straight Spanish. Didn't understand a word of English, but they can speak straight Spanish.
Let me ask you a question, man, and it's a serious question. So, what's missing? Because I mean, we can talk about it. Like, what could we actually send down there besides real estate? Because you keep talking about these Chinese, and I know me home, I know that. So I won't be like the Chinese. I won't try to get in where I fit here.
I mean, it's China, and just like all the cars come from China. Because every car jumped in here, it's got the Chinese writing that come on the screen. It ain't been programmed over yet. So they do a lot of those Chinese auctions and stuff. They got all the car dealerships do that. They get some of their cars from America, but most of them from China. But the thing is that it just takes for us to say, hey, you do your homework here, and then it's time to do a move. But you can't make that move until, like Stacey said, you got boots on the ground that understands how business goes on here, because there are some traps here too as well. But you got to be prepared for that, and being prepared for that, you got to have attorneys. You know what I'm saying? You got to have somebody that works in the department to help you set up the business and how to advertise your property and stuff too. So all that comes into play. But it's nothing. I mean, especially like black women. I have seen more black women build here than men. And I met one lady. I met one lady up north, man. She showed me her unit. She put $40,000 into it. She can sell that unit anywhere from $150 to $200. When I say it's a 2-level house, like a villa style, like the ones we normally stay in. Beautiful, man. And I was so amazed, and I was so proud that she did that.
And so when you say $40,000, I want people to understand. We talking about with pools, upstairs, downstairs, central air, whole nine.
No, the type of air conditioning they use. They don't do the same air conditioning like we do.
Yeah, but I mean that's considered central air over there.
Oh yeah.
But technically, I mean, I guess depending on what month you did. We never been there in the summer. But when we went over there, you didn't even need the AC.
Yeah, I mean, like now, I had the fan on last night, and I woke up. I had to get them cut that thing out. It was cold because the temperature pretty much stays the same. Like come June and July, it gets a little hotter here. That's when you get close to about your 90 degrees.
Oh man, you've been there 3 or 4 years. You Dominican. Stop.
Hey man, we all the same. We all Dominican. Because it's just, man, we got to look at this. And it's just my perspective. We got to start thinking outside the box. You got to think outside the box. Just like Stacey said, you got to find somewhere where you can take your money and double or triple your money. Because that's what a lot of people do. Like I was telling Stacey about my friend, he was exporting old used Lee jeans to like Europe, and I think some parts of Africa. The man became a millionaire out there. I mean, this was a guy that lived in the West End. and he came up off selling, shipping out old used Lee jeans, and made a killing off of it. He thought outside the box.
So,
It don't have to be here. You just got to find out where can I go and maximize my dollar.
so that goes back to the question: what
What can we
can we
do?
do down there that's up here? What? Give me an idea of what's not there that's here.
It's kind of hard because they're moving so fast, like they're trying to catch up. Great customer service. I would say the service industry because they don't have great customer service here. That's one of they red flags here. And if you can find a business, like I said, just what do people need and what they already don't have here as much, that would be a challenge. But like I was saying earlier, that the real estate is plentiful here now. It's like you if you can find somewhere to build something in a nice area, and what a lot of people are doing now, they're building on the outskirts because they know that this country is expanding. So they're waiting on the people to move closer, just like when everything was right there in the center of Atlanta. And then later people start merging out the canyons and further out. That's what they're waiting on now. They're already set up just waiting. You can go by now. If I still need to put that. I think I got it on that video. You will see the people that's actually start building on some of these properties. They didn't complete the project. They put their phone numbers on the buildings. So if you want to come by, you give them a call. It's already just framed out what they designed. No ceilings. It might just got 4 walls and a foundation.
And so, how
But
much that would cost to do in a property? What, about $6,000?
if it already got the 4 walls and the framing, man, you probably come in probably another 10 or 12. That's just to complete it out, and that's without the bells and the whistles. Because here you don't have to put in like refrigerators and stoves and all that. You do have to put the plumbing in there and everything, but after that, the rest is on whoever's renting it or who was ever buying it.
Good deal, good deal, good deal. Well, that was a pretty in-depth discussion about um, the Dominican Republic, global investments, what to look for, what not to look for, how much can you make, how much money you need. Um, Pretty good. Appreciate that, Martinez.
No problem.
For that knowledge on us. Well, I guess we can go into success stories. Anybody got any success stories this week?
Y'all ain't had nothing good going on this week.
Hey, man.
Hey,
I ain't see my investments making move yet. But I bought some. I don't think I bought some cryptos. I bought some more Tether.
I'm gonna tell
Tell
I
y'all,
us.
just
y'all do know crypto is about to go up by May. I
say
called
what
it.
now?
Crypto is gonna
I
go up.
think they. I
It's
think
gonna
it's
go up by
propaganda.
May. Nah, it's time for it to go up. It's being used too much. So you have to look at it. When we talked about that chart last year, they have a period every time where it's gonna rise and fall, and it's been down that period for so long. I'm predicting May. You know what I mean? That it's gonna actually have a massive run.
Well, Bitcoin had to drop back down into the 32,000s in a minute now. Everything's been up to 42 and 47 now.
That's what I know.
Nice.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
it
And
hadn't
so
been down there in a minute.
if you go back and look at the charts show you that's what it does. It starts to gain a little bit, gain a little bit. Then after it keep gaining and staying steady, it explodes. And then it's gonna stay exploded about a month or so. Then it's gonna drop back down. And I think this summer, from the stuff that I looked at, and I had looked at it about couple of weeks ago, this summer it's gonna be major because a lot of things are gonna be going on as far as financial as investment. Because I mean, you even look at the fact that Russia and they're really talking about Bitcoin as a use of case. So when you look at what's going on with the crypto world is growing really big, like on the low, but it's not on the media attention right now. But there's a lot of stuff going on in crypto right now. Like it's new, like the coins and everything. Everybody are actually using them. They got so many new credit cards and debit cards and ways to use it in the real world now, and it's happening right up under people's noses.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's using it. Like even my church here, that's how they got the money to buy the land. Somebody made a donation through cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And crypto. But my thing is about crypto. There are so many coins now. I was just going down the list, and you got to figure out which ones, what utility that coin is used for, and
Yeah.
you
I
you got
mean,
to do your homework.
me having first hand knowledge. Well, me having fifth hand knowledge of the inner workings of new coins through somebody else. That's always been crypto, man. Like people creating coins just to get paid. That's the crypto world has always been like that. And you really shouldn't even my suggestion, if the coin is too new, stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? Because fifth hand know that people will create coins and get paid, and the coin will be worthless because there's no regulation in the crypto world. So it's gonna always be a lot of people creating coins because it's basically they're trying to hide it in the disguise of new company. But it's the same thing. Go in if you can get $1 million or $2 million out of the people and crash the company, now you're a millionaire. Crypto scams have been around so long.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Tell the story about the guy who was a part of the church. He was paying his was tell the crypto
Oh,
story.
oh man, that guy, I coached the guy. So it was a guy, that we sat down and did a session, and he had been he had been getting tricked for probably almost a year, where he thought he was buying cryptocurrency, and he had gave it to this company, and the company was telling him that he was making money. They had a website set up and everything where he was seeing his money grow. They took this thing so far where, you know what I'm saying? Like when I say they took this thing so far, like the man had been sending money. The man had been sending money through um Cash App to this address, and they had an address set up like it was a Bitcoin address, and he was thinking that he was sending to a Bitcoin address, but it was just a Cash App address that they used a fake Bitcoin address to actually make mimic. He thought he could because he was buying Bitcoin through Cash App. It also tells you when you send your Bitcoin the way Cash App set up. That looks if they had a fake address where he was sending the money in, so he thought he was actually using a Bitcoin address. Well, these people they had an app and website set up where every time he made a deposit, it reflected the deposit and it would show his money growing up. So he got up to like he had put in like 6 to 8 grand, and his account got up to like 45, 50,000. Well, these people told him you got to give us $6,000, $7,000 to get your money out. And he like, well, I made this. Y'all made this money for me. It was like, well, the fee to get the money out is another $6,000, $7,000. And he was like, and then they told him that he can't use the money in the account to pay this money. He has to pay more money, and then they'll release the money, and he'll get the money back in the account.
That's
So,
a red flag.
so he basically don't gave up $8,000 of his money. Cause basically all they doing is keeping the money. You give them another 7,000, you still ain't gonna get no money.
Yeah.
Like, cause they basically like the crypto world has been a scam. Like, since the beginning. Like it's so many projects, man, that really are not even like I say, man. Like if I could just say it, but it's so many projects, man, that I've encountered that ain't even real. Somebody like, cause you can create a smart contract. You can go on Fiverr, I mean not offer up, Upwork, and they got people there that'll create you a smart contract. And once you create the smart contract for the crypto coin, and then you create this, you decide what crypto is going to be on, and you hook it up to the back end, and the smart contract is going to hook it to the back end. So you give it a name, create a web page, and if you got marketing dollars, it'll people like a lot of these, and kind of like what you talked about earlier, Martinez, about the middleman. So a lot of these exchanges, they need to make money. So your coin could be a scam, but because you got it, like they treat it as marketing, you can get an exchange to list your coin just because you got $50,000, you give them 50,000 to list your coin, but then once your coin is listed, you might make 200,000-300,000 because people are like some people are for new coins, so they'll invest in them hoping that they go up because they're so cheap. And you can go in and create a new coin easily. You know what I mean? Like you just need a little money and you create it, do all because it's all digital. It's not even real, and it's just a thing where you go to the exchange, pay them to put your coin on there. They put your coin on there and do it as what they call a ICO, where they release the coin. And a lot of times, people on the platform, what'll happen is, if you on the platform already, they'll just give people tokens just to start the trading. You know what I mean? If you've been trading crypto for a minute, you'll see like if you got it on your phone, they'll be like, "Oh, this new coin is trading. You could get some of it." You know what I mean? Depending on how they actually structure the smart contract, it depends on if your smart contract says all these people holding this coin, because you can link it to another coin. I ain't mean to say that they get free tokens, and it's really just a scam just to give those people that's already trading free tokens, so people will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go over here and try to buy this," and it creates the market. You know what I mean? Because it's like setting your own coin up is. I personally do know a couple of people that have set up their own coins and had their coins on the market. You know what I mean? And actually made money from having a coin, and their coin died just because the people stopped being able to trade because the coin price went so low. Because you got to be a market maker, you got to have that middleman keeping the price up. So I'd be weary of them new coins.
So how much does it cost to start your own coin?
You probably be out about $800.
What?
Man, I'm about to put the Martinez coin up tomorrow.
Yeah, about $800.
No.
The smart contract probably ain't about 800 because they already got templates. You just got to pay somebody to customize yours to whatever you say. Right? You go on Upwork right now, you get somebody to do your smart contract for a coin for about $800.
What? Man, y'all get ready for that black coin.
All you gotta do is have a purpose for it.
You just gotta have like. Honestly, you can tell them you're gonna sell shit to a cow. You know what I mean? I mean, you can make up whatever your purpose is. If people in the world believe it or believe in it, if it has a purpose, I mean, it's the people that's gonna make it. You gotta realize it's crowdfunding is really what crypto is about. People like some of them projects never come to life. People sometimes don't even make what they say they gonna do. They just keep the money. You know what I mean?
It's wild, wild west out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, hey, sorry, better late than never, guys. But just my quick 2 cents in it. Honestly, if you can create an NFT, which is a non-fungible token, technically an NFT is like a coin. It's like you can take something and you are making it into a coin because it's a one of one. So it's not like you're issuing a bunch of them. you're issuing a 1 of 1. And if you have a series of those, each one of them is a 1 of 1. And because it's a 1 of 1, that means that it's a depreciable asset. And because of that, that's why people have been minting these, and that's why they literally call it minting an NFT, just like you're minting coins. And when you do that, if people for some reason have a demand for your NFT, then it becomes good as money. But it's kind of like back in the day when America was being explored. People didn't have American dollars; they had beaver pelts and gold rocks. And if the other person or the Indian that you were about to take land from, thought that it had any value, then they'd be like, yeah, I'll take it in exchange. And that's what NFTs are all about, technically.
So that's why Snoop Dogg is putting all his money into NFTs and stuff. And that's why he bought Death Row Records. Because he pulled all the music from I think Dr. Dre music and somebody else music. He pulled all their music and he put it into the NFT world.
So look at it like this. He's going to take, instead of re-releasing all that music, he's going to officially own it and get residual incomes every time it's played, every time somebody buys the likeness, every time the image is used, every time anything from Death Row is used in any kind of way, it gets residuals in the digital space. Because it's always got to be paid. You always got to buy the NFT in any form. If it's music, pictures, anything. If somebody want a picture of Tupac, he's going to be able to sell the picture of Tupac in the digital space. He's just the same thing that Jay-Z and Dame Dash are going through with talking about that album that Dame Dash is trying to sell the NFT from. Snoop Dogg can sell all the Death Row category except for Dr. Dre. He don't have Dr. Dre yet. They haven't really released that. But anything that has to do with Death Row in any likeness, any kind of way, any kind of song, anybody that was signed to Death Row, he has all rights into the metaverse. Now here goes the crazy thing. Every time being that he took the record company and made it an NFT, every time somebody is signed on the record label to the record label, he gets the rights in perpetuity almost. Unless somebody buys the rights. Because it's basically he got contracts that say he owned this. And that's where the world's going to go to. Where they get, because even in the entertainment industry, when you hear about 360 deal, imagine somebody going to own your likeness. And every time it's used anywhere, they get it. It gets it's the same system that we already have. It's just it becomes in check because of smart contract. You ain't even got to say you ain't gonna pay him. In order to get it, you got to pay for it. You can't just get it. You can't even just copy it and then use it because you're gonna have to pay for it in some form. You will still have to pay for it. You can't just. It ain't gonna be like copying, like we go on Google and copy paste a picture and use it. Nah, it's on the. In order for it to be used, it's gonna be on the blockchain. So the whole Death Row catalog is now gonna be on the blockchain, and every time anybody wants to use any piece of it, he don't even have to monitor it. It's gonna automatically execute.
So now I can't get that old doggy style. I gotta go get it through the NFT now because I think he don't pull it off YouTube and stuff.
He pulled all over the internet, everywhere, streaming platform, all of it. You gotta go through the NFT process where he get paid for every time you pretty much use it.
Man,
Wait a minute. So on Spotify, you can't hear any of the Death Row artists anymore?
Nope.
Man, come on.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
I heard Snoop Dogg coming back up here.
You may hear versions.
You may
hear versions of people.
Oh, it was collaborations with other artists.
Hear versions, and you may hear.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to get the whole album like we used to go on YouTube Music. Even if you subscribe to YouTube Music, you just listen to the whole album. I think they don't pull it.
You gotta realize radio stations are still gonna have it. You see what I'm
And
saying?
cause
But
they gotta pay them though.
they gotta see they keep it going. But as a private person, you can't get it unless you go through the proper channel. And that's why he pulled it from the streaming platform. So you can't go just stream it just because you want to. You gotta actually pay because basically he probably finna come out with a streaming service where he gonna stream music because it's the first record company in the metaverse. Nobody else has did it before.
Man, let me see if I go find my old Doggy Style CD. That thing might be worth some money down there.
It will. It will.
Let's
It
go
is.
dust that thing. Put some
Man, that's
alcohol on
crazy.
it.
Because when digital came out, think about it. When digital came out, you know, the big catalog of CDs that I used to have, I donated them to Goodwill because everything was digital. It didn't make any sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Hey, quick question, guys. Sorry,
Mhm.
sorry, me coming on late, but have we been talking about crypto the majority of this conversation?
We've been talking a lot about the Dominic. Well, we've been talking about global investing. You know, ways to invest globally was the majority of it, and the area we was talking about was primarily in the Dominican Republic.
So, is anybody sad about staying on the crypto conversation? Is anybody sad and kicking themselves in the head for not buying up some Ethereum last week?
I bought some.
No, I'm not kicking myself. I'm good.
I bought some.
$1,000 in a week.
Ethereum is going to be the new Bitcoin, so hey, might as well get ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, man, I tell you, I got plans for Bitcoin when it gets back to 72,000.
Yes, sir.
I got plans for Bitcoin when it gets back to 72.
You know, I'm
was
no
thinking
longer
about-
really that worried about Bitcoin. I'm falling. I'm not exactly falling my sword on ETH, but I do kind of believe the way Martin was just talking about that ETH could very well be the next the next Bitcoin, so to speak.
Ethereum.
And ETH is about to turn itself over, is about to go to ETH 2.0, and
Yep.
it will it will be able to do some things that Bitcoin currently cannot do. So,
Well, I gotta say this to y'all. Y'all like Bitcoin is not gonna win the battle because Bitcoin doesn't have enough liquidity to create a fair market. Because you have to understand, there's only 22 million Bitcoin, and over like 30% of that is lost. You see what I mean? Like Bitcoin was never created to be able to handle a mass scale. Ethereum is. Ethereum has a lot more liquidity than Bitcoin does. So I just want to put that out there so people know, like,
yep.
although Bitcoin is going up, the play is Ethereum because in the long run, Bitcoin will not be able to be a fair market like item.
So could we say that Bitcoin is like gold and Ethereum is like the US dollar?
No, I
That'd
think
be a
it's more like silver and gold. I think it's more like as commodities, it's silver and gold. But it's just like, remember when silver wasn't worth jack until people started using it industrially? Gold has always been around and has always been seen as a store of value since like the beginning of our civilization. Silver, not so much until we started seeing industrial applications. Then silver became, I wouldn't say a close second, but it's a second. And I kind of see that happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, where Bitcoin has been the gold standard, but it's a gold standard because we really didn't know any better. Now that we are beginning to know better, I think that I ultimately think within 5 years, Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to flip.
I agree with you. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, it's going to flip because for the person Okay. When people think, they think Bitcoin. But once you become educated, you're like, well, what is Bitcoin actually used on? And what's its utility? And that makes people say, well,
I
hey, I
love
know.
next play, because when I said all this last year, everybody was looking around like, what you mean?
I wasn't here last year.
That the utility of the coin matters a lot. When you picking new coins and everything, the utility, does the coin really exist?
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I'm okay now investing in the stable coins. I know they're not gonna move much like the Ethereum and the Bitcoin, but I like, it's got a slow climb, a little climb. And later, I think when more people become educated, you're gonna see a lot of more volume go through those coins.
Yeah, I think that we should be looking at this very much the same way that we currently look at the stock market, at investments in the stock market. This is going to be our digital marketplace, and in our digital marketplace, the difference is I have stocks that are sitting around in the stock market. Stocks go up, stocks go down. Tesla's gone up and down, and now they're talking about they can't open up their China plant. It might go back down. It truly doesn't matter to me until I cash it out and buy a physical asset that changes my life in some way, shape, or form. Now, the difference is with the stock market, you can use your stocks as a proof of stake, as a proof of asset. So these paper assets can allow you to get, say, a loan or something like that so that you can buy real assets that change your life in some way, shape, or form. But as they just sit around on paper, just like as bonds, the 10 and the 2-year bond just flipped, all these things, none of it matters until you actually do something with it. And that's why back in the day, people used to say, I'm worth so much money on paper. Pretty soon, they're going to start saying, I'm worth so much money on the web, on Web 3.0, on the net. I think that it'll be the exact same thing. And until you can buy particular assets, okay, that can literally physically change your life, give you a better, life standard or something like that. But none of that stuff really matters. I mean, like, if something crazy happened and the market tumbled, okay, or let's say Russia decided to point nukes at the U.S. or something, or somehow they jumped over from China, something crazy happened, okay? Just like with what almost happened with the China market, last month. If the markets themselves collapse, anybody that's worth all that money on paper, that paper is no good anymore. And when that paper is no good to everybody else, that value is about gone. And that's why so many people hedge. They make sure that you have about, 10% or so stored away in real physical assets, whether they be property, whether they be gold, silver, things like that, just in case the infrastructure goes down. And Web 3.0 is an infrastructure, no different than our central banking system. And if something happens and it goes down, you should have something in the form of a backup. So I think that the exact same thing is going to happen with Web 3.0, in that people are worth so much money in Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, think about last year when Bitcoin was almost 70K a coin, and you had these young kids that bought it at $2,000 that were just balling out of control. They were going nuts because they were able to swap out, sell some of that Bitcoin, and then turn that into regular dollars and then buy real assets. So that's why you had 20-year-old kids running around buying condos and Lambos and things like that. But then once Bitcoin itself goes, when it lost more than half of its value, all of a sudden they weren't thinking, the same way. And the same thing is happening right now. I truly believe that, in that as long as you have all these things, whether it's these assets, web assets, physical assets, things like that. You just got to be in a situation where, okay, I'm just going to hold on to what I have. And when the time comes, I'll be able to turn it into something that will help me change my life. You guys see where I'm coming from at all? The difference between I'm worth so much on paper and I'm worth so much on the web?
I see what
But
you
Yeah.
mean.
my thing is, if you mentioned if the entire market crashes and everything comes tumbling down, wouldn't that mean everything will be come tumbling down, whether it's digital and the stock market?
No, not right now anyway. Maybe in 10 years that might be the case. Maybe in 10 years, Web 3.0 will be no different than the central bank. Because if the central bank goes down, everybody on the planet's in a world of hurt.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you were saying earlier when we was like during the pandemic, right when the pandemic hit,
Yep.
there was more volume in the gold markets.
Correct.
There was
Because
more
people were
volume in
running.
cryptocurrency. People were dumping their money into that versus buying stocks because people had fear.
People were scared of a full collapse, and what did they do? They jumped back to our physical assets. So, and anybody that quote unquote learned from the pandemic, or or like I've got friends that still tell me, yeah, man, I buried some silver in my backyard just in case. And you might think they're crazy, but after March of 2020, all of a sudden they weren't looking that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I'm thinking maybe within the next decade or so, Web 3.0 will be no different than the central bank, because people will have so much of their life's worth tied up into whether it's digital real estate, on Sandbox or NFTs, or these smart contracts like ETH, things like that. They may have so much money wrapped up in that. Banks will literally go to their crypto accounts, take a look at what they have, and determine how much money they can loan out for a house, like a physical.
All right, all right. How's everybody doing? Tonight was a real chill show. We talked about globalization. Talked about being able to go across the globe and be able to do business. As you can see, we're always brainstorming and trying to come up with ways to actually and figure out what's the next play. You know what I mean? Next Play Investors is about trying to grow and build and do all those great things. So I'm glad everybody came out. And I'm glad everybody enjoyed the time to actually sit down and listen. So if you came out and check it out, make sure you come and join us sometime with your questions and actually comment so we can actually all talk about them. We're always looking for an interesting conversation and always looking for more knowledge. So definitely good to have you, and we hope you come back again. Again, we meet here every Sunday from 7:30 to 9. Great conversation. We're gonna have a lot of new guests. 2022 is just getting started, so we're not about trying to make it seem like we're trying to sell you something, man. We're trying to do it for the community and trying to get more people to kind of come together and talk about it so it stays on each other's minds every day of the week. We meet on Sundays and just try to keep the energy to the next Sunday. Same concept as a lot of other things that are out there. Meet there and we talk amongst each other during the week. So you got to be able to join the WhatsApp chat, be able to listen and see what else we talk about amongst ourselves and when you get on. But you got to join the group to be able to get into the WhatsApp chat. So, with that being said, definitely go check out Next Play Investors on Instagram or Facebook. Join the group. I mean, whatever you got to contribute, we definitely willing to hear about it. You may open our eyes to something that we need to know, and it could be the next play. So we definitely want to thank everybody for being able to come out, enjoy the time with everyone, and being able to just vibe it out and do what we do on a Sunday. We definitely thank you again, and we want to say see you next week. Have a wonderful night, y'all. Thank you for joining Next Play Investors.